Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Deep Dive, and this is the final part of this series, where we move from understanding what AI is doing to understanding where the value is likely to flow. Because if AI agents are going to trade, interact with DeFi, move funds, and execute transactions at scale, then the networks they choose to operate on could see a completely different level of demand compared to what we have seen so far. Now, the first place you have to start is Ethereum. Because whether people like it or not, Ethereum is still the base layer for a huge portion of the crypto ecosystem. Most DeFi protocols, most smart contracts, and a large part of the infrastructure that AI would need to interact with already exist on Ethereum or within its ecosystem. And this is something analysts consistently point out. Ethereum's strength is not just its price, it is its network effect. It has liquidity, developers, tooling, and composability. And for AI systems that need to interact across multiple protocols, that matters. One institutional analyst recently described Ethereum as the most complete execution environment for programmable finance. And that is exactly the kind of environment AI systems are likely to prefer, at least initially. Because they do not just need speed, they need flexibility. But at the same time, Ethereum has a clear limitation, and that is cost. Because if AI agents are executing transactions constantly, managing positions, rebalancing portfolios, interacting with protocols, then fees become a major factor. And this is where the conversation shifts towards faster, cheaper chains. And that brings us to Solana, because Solana is almost designed for this kind of activity. High throughput, low fees, fast execution. These are exactly the characteristics you would want if you are running systems that could potentially execute hundreds or even thousands of transactions per day. And this is not just theory. Developers working on AI agents have already pointed to Solana as one of the most suitable environments for building autonomous systems. The ability to execute frequent, low-cost transactions makes it far more practical for AI-driven activity compared to more expensive networks. One developer-focused report highlighted that AI agents operating at scale require blockchains that can handle continuous interaction without prohibitive costs. And Solana fits that profile very closely. So what you start to see here is a split. Ethereum as the flexible, composable base layer. Solana as the high-speed execution layer. And both of them benefiting, but for slightly different reasons. And this is the part that most people are not fully appreciating yet, because they are still thinking about crypto adoption in terms of human users, more wallets, more retail, more institutions, but AI completely changes that equation. Because an AI agent does not behave like a human user. It does not log in once a day, make a few decisions, and log out. It can operate continuously, making hundreds or even thousands of micro-decisions, interacting with protocols, adjusting positions, routing liquidity, and responding to data in real time. One infrastructure analyst recently described this as non-linear demand, where a single AI system can generate the equivalent activity of thousands of human users, and that has huge implications for network usage. Because suddenly, adoption is no longer a slow, steady increase in users, it becomes an acceleration in activity. And the networks that can handle that scale, cheaply and efficiently, are the ones that capture the most value. Not necessarily the ones with the most users, but the ones with the most activity. Now let's talk about XRP, because this is where things get more interesting. Because XRP is not built around DeFi in the same way, and it is not positioned as a general-purpose smart contract platform in the same way as Ethereum or Solana. But where it does have strength is in payments and value transfer. And if AI systems are going to move money, settle transactions, or operate across different systems, then fast, efficient payment rails become extremely important. And this is where XRP could play a role. Because if AI agents are interacting across different networks, different platforms, and potentially even different currencies, then having a bridge asset or a fast settlement layer becomes valuable. Some analysts have suggested that AI-driven financial systems could increase demand for efficient settlement networks, particularly for machine-to-machine payments, where speed and cost are critical. Now, whether XRP becomes a dominant player in that space is still uncertain, but the use case is there. Now, beyond the majors, this is where things start to open up. Because AI does not just benefit large networks, it can also benefit specific sectors within crypto. For example, Oracle networks, because AI systems rely on data. They need price feeds, external information, real-world inputs, and that means networks like Chainlink become increasingly important. Because if AI is making decisions based on data, then the quality and reliability of that data becomes critical. And this is why some analysts believe that Oracle infrastructure could see increased demand as AI adoption grows. Then you have compute-focused projects, because running AI models requires resources. And while a lot of that currently happens off-chain, there is a growing narrative around decentralized compute, projects that aim to provide distributed processing power for AI workloads. Now, this is still early, but it is an area that is getting attention. Because if crypto can provide financial rails for AI, then the next step is providing infrastructure as well. And then you have the broader category of AI-related tokens, projects that are directly positioning themselves around AI, automation, and data. Now, this is where you have to be careful, because not all of these projects are equal. Some are building real infrastructure. Others are simply attaching themselves to the narrative. And this is where analyst views become important. Because one of the consistent warnings is that during early phases of a trend, capital often flows into anything that is associated with the theme, regardless of whether it has real substance. So while there may be opportunities here, there is also risk. Now, when you bring all of this together, the picture becomes much clearer. AI is not going to benefit every coin equally. It is going to benefit specific types of infrastructure, execution layers, payment rails, data providers, compute networks, and platforms that allow interaction between systems. And the key point is this: the value does not just go to the idea. It goes to the infrastructure that supports the idea. And this is where we close the series. Because what we have built over these episodes is a full picture. AI is already operating in the market. Identity systems are being built to control it. Wallets are evolving to execute on its behalf. And now we can see where that activity is likely to flow, into the networks that can support it. So the final takeaway is simple. This is not just another cycle. This is not just another narrative. This is a structural shift. And the people who understand where that shift is going are the ones who position correctly. Drop your thoughts in the comments, like and follow. And we will see you at the top.